Greetings all, FerrariMan601 here. Welcome back to Assetto Corsa, and welcome back to the showroom. Is this a review? No, it's not. However, I am going to follow up on a little bit of a challenge, I suppose, or a response to an assertion by the great SimRacing604, hi Mike, who said in his little, I guess, pseudo-review of this car by the reboot modding team, the BAC Mono, which I've got to say has very quickly become one of the most spectacular things I've ever seen in Assetto Corsa. He said that this thing was faster than a Pagani Zonda R, and in a video that I released on Thursday, July 22nd, I demonstrated that around Silverstone at least, this car is about bang on 2 seconds a lap faster than a Pagani Zonda R, both with the same fuel load and both with the softest, stickiest, slick tires that they can muster. So yeah, SimRacing604 was correct. However, we do have a little bit of a further question that now needs to be posed. The Zonda R has, let me see, more than double the horsepower of this car, and therefore it also has about double the weight. So power to weight ratio, in terms of comparing the two, it's very much equivalent. But the more horsepower means that the Zonda can actually get to 320, 330 clicks down a long straight, whereas this thing tops out in a perfect world at about 290. So given a long enough straight, this thing is going to be absolutely left in the dust, despite having, well, pretty good acceleration and a virtually, for as much as makes no difference, an identical power to weight ratio as the Zonda R. So what should we do about this? We got to take them to Monza. Right, so we have loaded up into hot lap mode here, which puts us on the back straight right before the braking zone for Parabolica. How are we going to do this? Well, we're going to have 2 flying laps in the Mono as well as in the Zonda. And we'll see if that top speed really starts to come into the equation. I think it might. Parameters are going to be, because the Zonda only has slicks, and this has the choice between a treaded semi-slick compound and a full true slick. We're going to run the true slick here at 20 PSI all round. We don't have all that much in terms of a range of adjustment for anything else on this car. Can't really touch the suspension very much. We can't really touch electronics apart from traction control, which we're going to turn off, and anti-lock brakes, which we're also going to turn off. A car as light as this, if you can't tell if you're locking a brake, you probably should just hang it up at this point. The Zonda, I will run some light ABS assist because that thing's a bit more wallowy. 20 liters of fuel will be, and in this car, that is actually well more than half a tank. So that is a bit interesting there. You'll see the contrast between this and the Zonda in terms of fuel capacity later on. So we're loaded up, the engine is fired, and we've got 2 flying laps to see what we can do here. Pull away sensibly. Throw it in. We do have the tire blankets active, so the tires are more or less ready to go. And we'll see what sort of a time the Mono can put up. Begun our lap, and we should get up to VMAX here. Here's the rev limiter at 288. There's the brakes. Got to do a lot of cadence braking in this car because we don't really have any downforce. Out of the first chicane, there's the exit curbs. That is wonderful. Very compliant over the exit curbs there. Into Curva Grande. Check that our TC is off. And on the brakes into De La Roggia. Downshift rejected. A little bit of rear locking there. I guess the rear squirrely, but it's okay. Hard on the power for the exit, no problem. To Lesmo 1, a little bit wide of the apex there with some mid-corner understeer turning into power oversteer for the exit, but we can recover nicely. Lesmo 2, a little bit of turn in under braking oversteer there. Parlay that for a nice exit. Now Serralio. I always think of this as the back straight at Monza, even though it technically is not. Heading underneath the old banking, 1 minute 10 seconds mark. And then had a little bit of a screen drop there. That's going to hurt me a lot in terms of positioning. That does not help. And then lots of oversteer on the exit through the run out. That is totally inbounds, even to the most draconian of FIA stewards. That little frame freeze there on the braking for Ascari completely screwed up my entry. The second lap needs to be better than this, and I strongly suspect it will be. through the exit of Parabolica. What is our first time? That is a 1:47.915. We'll get back up to VMAX again. Seems only to happen down the start-finish straight, which is fine by me. Hard on the brakes and then start the cadence braking. Into second gear, apex curbs. A little bit of power, a little bit of brake, a little bit of power through the exit. Over the exit curbs hard. The car does not seem to mind those. Out to the edge of the track. Turn it in gradually to Curva Grande. Cheat to the inside a bit, but not too hard, otherwise you're scrubbing speed. To the exit. There's the bridge, braking hard. Watch the rear locking, second gear. Apex curb sausage. Coming out, we are up almost 4/10 in sector 1. Braking, third gear. A bit of trail braking, a little bit of hunting on the throttle. Hard over those exit curbs and into the AstroTurf, that's fine. Braking again, rear locking into the second Lesmo. We've gone off a bit. I don't think that cost us too badly. Let's see what our sector 2 time's gonna be. On the brakes. Try fourth gear. We're down by 1/10 in sector 2, using all of the entrance curbs there. Using all of the run out. On the back straight, we'll get up close to VMAX again, but not quite to it. On the brakes, fourth gear. Trying to turn in gradually. The understeer kicks in, but it's supplemented by some rear end complaining. What have we got for our lap time? It's a 1:47.040. So that is now the benchmark for the Zonda R to beat. Can we actually beat it? Will we actually be able to exceed 288 kilometers per hour with the Zonda R? Well, we're going to be finding that out presently. Right, and here we are with the Zonda R. Same sorts of running conditions and very similar setup as far as we can go here. We've got the softest possible tire compound at 20 psi all around. Our fuel load will be 20 liters as it was in the mono, and you'll see how little 20 liters is comparatively here in the Zonda. However, the Zonda also weighs roughly twice what the mono does. The mono comes in at 580 kilograms. The Zonda R comes in at 1,070. So, yeah, pretty much right on twice. That is something. No traction control. We'll run a little bit of ABS, but not a whole ton. And then in terms of our aero, what can we really do here? Rear wing is going to be generating the majority of our drag. And, yeah, we'll trim it out to 6 degrees. We probably could afford to go a little bit lower, but that's going to be all she wrote here. Otherwise, not going to touch anything else in terms of the setup. Just largely default except for a little bit of aero trim. So, engine fired here on the Zonda R. 2 laps. What does it? Well, having twice the weight really does make the front axle turn in a whole lot better. Rear axle will complain even more, though, if you can believe it. And we've begun our lap. There goes the top speed of the mono. And we've got one more gear. We're over 300 kilometers an hour there. And that got squirrely under power immediately. Gonna have to make a note of that for the next lap. Braking. My third gear here for the Rogia. First set of curbs, second set of curbs, exit curbs are bounding over them. Third gear for Lesmo 1. Getting on the power, lots of power oversteer. Still salvage a decent exit. Braking, third gear, hit the apex curbs, feed the power in as much as we can. We're chasing the tail end all over the place. But now with the gravity assist, faster down the back straight than the mono was. having to just be very delicate with my throttle application. And again, faster down the straight, braking. Third gear trail braking into Parabolica, chasing the tail. Right, back to full throttle on the exit. We've got 1:48.797. We're not quite there yet. This lap needs to be quicker. We are going quicker down the straight, braking. Just tickle the throttle at the lower speeds. Get on the throttle hard. There we go. Rear end still protesting over the bumps there. The brakes keep the wheels as straight as we can. Try third gear, use the entrance curbs and both elements of the chicane on the power over the exit. Little bit of gravel there. 1.3 seconds up in sector 1. And that got a bit squirrely there. The AstroTurf rescued us. Third gear for Lesmo 2 on the power. That was a much better run through Lesmo 2 this time by. Onto the banking. Braking. Third gear. Throw it in. Pick up a lot of entrance curbs. Back end stepping out all the time. Short shifted into fourth on the power hard through the exit. I did not get to catch a glimpse of our split time there through sector 2. I'm sure you've all seen it. On the brakes for Parabolica. Fourth gear. That should help us get back on full throttle. Just drifted a little bit. Use the slip angle to our advantage as much as we can without overdoing it. 46. Yes, 46. 6, 5, 3. Right. Which means that, well, the result seems to be a little bit circuit specific, easy for me to say. The BAC Moto did it in 1:47.040, and the Pagani Zonda R did Monza in 1:46.653. Therefore, the BAC Moto, is it actually faster than a Pagani Zonda R? Well, depends on where we are. That about does it here, though. I hope you all found this interesting, and I hope Mike is not too angry at me. Until next time, for Ironman 601 saying thank you very much for watching, and of course, we will see you soon.